What if I told you that the most dangerous habit in your life could be stopped by changing how you think about it? But here's the catch. Most people realize this too late. Will you? Stay with me, and I'll show you how to regain control before it's too late. Alcohol addiction doesn't just destroy your body, it shatters relationships, careers, and dreams. It's like a thief in the night, stealing your joy, your health, and your future one sip at a time. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to let it win. In today's video, we'll uncover a proven step-by-step method to break free from alcohol addiction, on your own. This isn't easy, but it's possible. And it starts with a decision you make today. Imagine being stuck in quicksand. Every move you make to escape only pulls you deeper. That's what alcohol addiction feels like. It tricks your brain into thinking you need it to cope with stress, loneliness, or even to celebrate. But here's the truth. Alcohol is a false escape. Think about it. When things get tough, what's the first thing you reach for? A drink, right? It's like a reflex. But that quick fix only masks the problem. It doesn't solve it. In fact, it often makes things worse. The more you rely on alcohol, the tighter its grip becomes. It's like a bad relationship that you just can't seem to break free from. You know it's no good for you, but you keep going back for more. But I'm here to tell you that there's a way out. It starts with understanding the nature of addiction itself. You see, alcohol addiction is not a sign of weakness, it's a disease. And like any disease, it needs to be treated. But here's the good news, recovery is possible. Millions of people have overcome alcohol addiction, and so can you. It's not going to be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. So, if you're ready to break free from the quicksand of alcohol addiction, keep watching, because in the next few chapters, I'm going to show you how. Let's be real, folks. There's no sugarcoating this. Alcohol addiction is a serious problem, and it's not going to go away on its own. In fact, it's only going to get worse the longer you ignore it. Here's a harsh truth. Every drink you take is a step closer to losing control completely. It's like playing Russian roulette with your life. You might get away with it for a while, but eventually, your luck is going to run out. I've seen it countless times in my work. People from all walks of life with families, careers, and dreams, all brought down by this one destructive habit. They thought they could handle it, that it wouldn't happen to them. But addiction doesn't discriminate. So, I ask you again, is that really a risk you're willing to take? Are you willing to gamble with your health, your relationships, your future? Because that's what you're doing every time you pick up a drink. It's time to stop kidding yourself and face the facts. Alcohol addiction is a dead end. It's a path that leads to nowhere but regret, despair, and ultimately destruction. But it's not too late to turn things around. You have the power to choose a different path, a path that leads to freedom, healing, and a brighter future. Breaking free from alcohol addiction starts with recognizing the trap you're in. It's like being caught in a spider web. The more you struggle, the more entangled you become. The first step is to acknowledge that you have a problem. This is often the hardest part, but it's also the most crucial. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Next, you need to understand how the addiction works. Alcohol addiction is a disease that affects your brain, making you crave alcohol even when you know it's bad for you. This is why willpower alone is rarely enough to overcome addiction. You need a plan, a strategy to break free from the grip of alcohol. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to climb out of a hole without a rope or a ladder, would you? You need the right tools and support to succeed. That's what we're going to talk about in the next few chapters. I'm going to give you the tools and strategies you need to break free from alcohol addiction and reclaim your life. Chapter 4. Finding your why. Let's start with the why. Why do you want to quit drinking? Is it to save your health, repair relationships, or rediscover your true self? Without a powerful reason, change won't stick. Think of your why as your North Star, guiding you through the darkest nights. When the cravings hit, and they will, your why will be your anchor, reminding you why you started this journey in the first place. Is it the thought of seeing your children graduate? Or maybe it's the desire to finally achieve that lifelong dream you've been putting off? Whatever it is, hold on to it tight. Write it down, Make it your phone's wallpaper, tattoo it on your heart if you have to, because when the going gets tough, and it will, your why will be the only thing that keeps you going. Chapter 5, John's story. Let me tell you about John. John was a successful businessman, but he was also a functioning alcoholic. He thought he had it all under control, but the truth was, alcohol controlled him. John's drinking was tearing his family apart. His wife was at her wit's end and his children were afraid of him. He knew he had to change, but he didn't know how. One day, John's wife gave him an ultimatum: get help or get out. That's when John realized he had hit rock bottom. He had to make a choice, alcohol or his family. John chose his family. He checked himself into rehab, and it was the hardest thing he'd ever done, but it was also the best decision he ever made. In rehab, John learned about the nature of addiction and the importance of finding his why. He realized that his why was his family. He wanted to be a better husband and father, and he knew he couldn't do that if he was still drinking. John's story is a reminder that it's never too late to turn your life around. No matter how bad things have gotten, there's always hope. Chapter 6. The Importance of Why. Your why is powerful, but it's not enough on its own. What comes next is critical, and most people skip it. You need a plan. This isn't about going cold turkey or relying on willpower alone. This is about understanding the cycle of addiction and breaking free from its grip. Think of it like a puzzle. You need all the pieces to see the full picture. Your why is just one piece. The other pieces include understanding your triggers, developing coping mechanisms, and building a support system. This is where professional help can be invaluable. A therapist can help you identify the root causes of your addiction and develop a personalized plan for recovery. Chapter 7. The Habit Loop. Alcohol thrives on habits, a trigger, an action, and a reward. For example, stress triggers a drink, which temporarily eases the stress. But what if you replace that drink with a healthier action? This is where habit replacement comes in. Identify your triggers. Is it stress, loneliness, certain people or places? Once you know your triggers, you can start to develop healthier coping mechanisms. Instead of reaching for a drink when you're stressed, try going for a walk, listening to music, or talking to a friend. Find what works for you and make it a habit. Remember, breaking any habit takes time and effort. There will be setbacks along the way, but don't let them discourage you. Every day is a new opportunity to make a positive change. Outro: you are not alone. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. Millions of people have overcome alcohol addiction, and so can you. It takes courage to admit you need help, and even more strength to ask for it. But the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine a life free from the shackles of addiction, a life filled with joy, purpose, and meaningful connections. That life is within your reach. To learn more about protecting yourself and your loved ones, watch my next video on rabies awareness. Click the link on your screen now. It's information that could save a life.